On the edge of the mist-choked city of Viridian, beneath a flickering jade sky, Alara pressed her palm to a cracked stone wall. It hummed, faint and desperate, with threads of old magic, fragments of a world that most called dead. She closed her eyes, breathing through the static-drenched air, and let the remnants of enchantment seep through her veins. A shiver danced over her neck. The city's pulse beat under her skin, waking memories she didn't want. Laughter in empty corridors, the hum of her father's forge, nights spent twining secrets into spell-laced bracelets. But those times had evaporated years ago, when mech guardians swept in with their cold eyes and riddled logic, outlawing song and sorcery alike, parsing human hearts into equations. They'd sealed the city in endless dusk, and now all that remained was Viridian's half-life, a mournful population, a world fed on rationed hope. A hollow clang echoed from a nearby alley. Alara pulled back and spun, coat swirling around her knees. A shadow lunged, rat-like quick but fully human. "You shouldn't do that here," the boy whispered, voice sharp as a blade but barely more than a breath. "They're watching." "I know," she said, heart-tripping. "So, why are you?" He hesitated. Some part of his frame, the set of his jaw or a stubborn bend to his shoulders, brought to mind a kindness rarely found in Viridian these days. "I saw your threads before. 3 nights ago at the market. You made light where there shouldn't be light." Her eyes narrowed, scanning him. Loose, patchwork clothes, boots with soles separating from the upper. No sign of a weapon. "And?" He stooped, lowering his voice. "My name's Ren. I want to remember, I want to believe magic isn't gone. Not all the way." Alara nearly smiled, but the hollowness pressed too hard on her chest. People like him, a mixture of idealism and desperation, got you killed. "Don't look for me again," she hissed, and melted into the fog, pulse pounding like footsteps up her spine. The next day, in the quiet hour before curfew, Alara crept through the skein of market stalls. Each table was haunted by hunger and silent bargains. Marketplace surveillance drones skimmed above, tagging every heat signature. She kept her head down, shadowing herself in the thinned crowd, clutching the tangle of copper wires she'd scavenged. With luck, she could weave it into a glyph strong enough to mask her scent from the mechs. She felt eyes on her, and with a start, realized it was Ren. He pressed through the crowd with all the subtlety of a wild dog, grinned too bright. "I have something for you," he said a little too loudly. "You're going to get both of us deconstructed," Alara muttered, but tugged him into an alley. He handed her a folded scrap of black fabric, a fragment of synth cloak, rare tech famed for eluding drone sensors for 10 seconds if you prayed hard enough. She ran her fingers over it, disbelief furrowed into her brow. "Where?" He leaned in, conspiratorial. "Contraband trade. My brother smuggled them into the city. I want you to use it to get past the cordon." Alara stared. The city's outer barrier was a spectral wall, alive with electric banshees and autocannons. No one got through, especially not sorcerers. She shook her head. "It's not enough. It'll buy me a blink, Ren. Then I'll be ashes on the wind." He placed his palm next to hers, whisper soft, "Unless you combine your kind of magic with mine." And there it was, the offer she knew would tear her in half. Trust a stranger's hope and risk everything, or hide until magic faded like the city's last, lingering sunset. That night, lightning split the sky. Alara swept open a trapdoor in her crumbling tenement rooftop. Ren clambered up behind her, pulling free a battered satchel. He laid out tools, wires, crystal chips, a micro-drone repurposed to scrape the frequency of the city wall. As rain thundered down, Alara began to weave her spell in a murmur. Runes tattooed her nerves. Phosphorescent loops of power danced on the wire. "You really believe this'll work?" he said, hunching under her cloak. "No," she whispered. "But I remember when believing mattered more than surviving." The rain swallowed the rest. She layered her enchantments over his tech, winding old magic through neon wires. Then came the worst part, waiting. pressed shoulder to shoulder, every breath a prayer. Down below, mechs stalked. One paused and turned its bronze-lacquered skull toward their rooftop. The city wall shimmered, beckoning lightning from the sky itself. Alara closed her eyes and forced her will through the copper, through the synth fiber, through Ren's trembling hands. "Now!" she cried. They ran, the cloak flaring with brilliant mercurial light. The nearest mech roared, discharging a pulse that sliced space where Alara had stood seconds before. A banshee's electric mouth yawned wide at the edge of the city. Alara hurled Ren the copper spool, "Keep weaving!" as she sprinted for the wall, glyphs burning under her skin. They reached it together. The banshee shrieked. Old magic clashed with neural code, light tangling around their bodies like a second skin. Ren screamed, flooded by images, a memory not his own. The city alive, the network pulsing with song, children dancing where kill zones now sprawled. Alara felt it too, grief handing her the last, fragile splinter of hope. She planted her feet and sang a note clear and crystalline, weaving it into Ren's freewheeling code. For an impossible second, the wall glitched, disintegrating into fractal light. They dove, tumbling through searing wind, until the banshee's wail was a memory stitched to thunder. When they finally landed sprawled on wet earth beyond the city coils, Alara tasted clean air for the first time since childhood. Ren coughed, his eyes wide, tears indistinguishable from rain. Behind them, the city wall sizzled, reforming. The spell was spent. There was no going back. Ren pulled himself upright and looked toward the horizon, where the earth dipped into a forest, thick with silvered trunks and bioluminescent moss. "What comes next?" he breathed. Alara rose, every inch of her battered, but her heart beating with a strange, painful hope. "We remember. We heal. We find what magic is left. Together." It wasn't happily ever after, not with the mechs still haunting Viridian's towers far behind. But their footsteps left a road through wilderness, one that shimmered just at the edge, with all the possibilities of a dawn yet unimagined.